folks. This is Will Ragatz with Vikings on SI, here to talk about another Vikings preseason victory. The Minnesota Vikings had lost 10 straight preseason games coming into this year, but they finished their August slate 3-0 in 2024 with a 26-3 victory over the Eagles on Saturday. And let's talk about Jaren Hall, who was the big takeaway from this game. The Vikings rested Sam Darnold, they rested Nick Mullins. Jaren Hall got the start and played the entire first half into the third quarter, and he looked really good. He threw an early interception on a route that sailed over him, which was negated by a penalty, so it did not end up on his final stat line. But after that, he really settled in and got into a groove. He finished 17 of 25, 189 yards, 2 touchdowns, giving him 4 touchdowns over the last 2 games. And Hall just looked kind of composed and poised and confident in the pocket. This is a guy who was drafted in the 5th round out of BYU last year. He's in his second full year in Kevin O'Connell's system. He looked decisive with the football. He just looked like he knew what he was doing out there. And he was playing against a lot of Eagles, 3rd stringers, 4th stringers, guys like that. So it's an encouraging sign for the Vikings that he played like this. It's not necessarily anything that we should start to talk about him being the backup quarterback or pushing Nick Mullins or anything like that. But what I think Jaren Hall did is he secured the Vikings' number 3 quarterback job over Matt Corral, who hasn't been here very long, but just in his limited preseason action today and last week has not looked like he's ready to go at all. So Hall's going to be the 3rd quarterback. Now the question is, do the Vikings keep him on the 53-man roster on Tuesday, or do they waive him and try to get him through to the practice squad where they could elevate him, use him as the emergency 3rd quarterback? That would free up another roster spot somewhere else on the 53, but if you do that, you risk losing a guy like Jaren Hall, who the Vikings have spent a lot of time getting ready to go in Kevin O'Connell's offense, and he has a good knowledge of the system. And with what he put on tape today, it's not out of the question that another team could look at him as a guy that they would want to scoop up and maybe bring on their active roster or try to put on their practice squad, something like that. So I'm leaning more towards the Vikings keeping 3 quarterbacks on the 53, Sam Darnold, Nick Mullins, and Jaren Hall as that number 3 guy who you'd like to have in case one of the first 2 guys gets hurt. It's the 3rd preseason game. It's just preseason action. But I thought Hall looked sharp today. He was delivering the football well and just kind of looked like he's mastered things in this Kevin O'Connell scheme so far. So other takeaways from this game, I mean, the 2 receiver Jacksons, Lucky and Tristan, both played pretty well. Lucky Jackson was the Vikings' leading receiver. Tristan had his 3rd touchdown catch in 3 preseason games. He should be on the 53-man roster. You think Trent Sherfield's probably on there too if the Vikings keep 6 wide receivers. And then defensively in this game, Andre Carter had a couple sacks. Jalen Redmond had a forced fumble and fumble recovery. Levi Drake Rodriguez, he's going to be on the roster. He had a pass batted down at the line of scrimmage. So it was kind of a somewhat uneventful game. The Vikings won 26-3. They cruised. Will Reichard hit a 57-yard field goal at the end, continuing his really strong summer. And next up for the Vikings, roster cuts going down from 91 players to 53 on Tuesday. And then after that, it's going to be regular season time, and the Vikings open the year September 8th, week 1 at the New York Giants. So lots more to come until then on Vikings on SI.